Hello, hello, hello. Hello, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, of course, Kick, Twitch, I think we're on. All right, how's everybody doing? Let me make sure that... Hello. Yep, okay, we're on. I was trying to get rid of the Christmas music when it announces something, and I can't figure it out. So we're just going to have Christmas music for a little while. And so I wanted to go over a little bit more of the Gabby Petito documentary because I see, like, today, a lot of people are freaking that she was going to leave him, and she had called the ex-boyfriend and he missed the call, and she was coming up with a plan. And of course it's the most dangerous time for a woman when she is trying to leave an abusive relationship. That is the most dangerous time for her. So she was going to leave Brian, and you know, we know this through the documentary. We see her ex-boyfriend now goes by the name of Just Jackson. He did go with the family to spread the ashes, Gabby's ashes, in, Spread Creek, Grand Tetons, and went with that friend that she met on that, was it Bumble for Friends? Rose. So we got some insight on that, and I think that's probably the biggest revelation, is that when she was going into a Whole Foods, that Whole Foods where you see them drive up, and Brian angrily slams the door of the van, of Gabby's van, really, really angry, and she walks in with her arms crossed, and that's the last time when they walk out that you ever see Gabby alive. So yeah, I mean, that's a big giant revelation. He feels really bad because he says what if he had answered that call, because she tried to call him as she was going in there. He missed the call. But what if, because she had already spoken to him, told him that she was going to leave him. She was coming up with a plan, a way to do it. She called him, and he missed the call. Called him, and he missed the call. So, yeah, the what ifs, right? They've got to be all around. What did she want? What was she calling for? And then you also have to look at it. He feels that, okay, wow, I couldn't save her from that, but could those calls, and maybe Brian seeing those calls, if he was the jealous type, which allegedly he was, and he was going through her phone, etc., if he had seen those calls to the boyfriend, then, what about that? So that guy's got to live with, like, this double whammy of stuff. You know what I mean? What if Brian saw that? I want to know more about the storage units, but no one's going to be able to tell that story. Brian, the parents, they're not here anymore. I wonder what the text said during that time between Gabby and Brian. That I'm thinking about, because I've always had questions about those storage units, always. That's bizarre. To leave Wyoming, to go back to Northport, to fly back and have your dad, help your dad clean out a storage unit, then fly back. I want to look that up right now, about if if Brian saw those texts to Jackson. Let me see. Okay, so Gabby Petito's ex-boyfriend Jackson speaking out in this documentary, right, about the conversations they had in the days before her fiance Brian Laundrie killed her in August of 2021. Jackson recalled getting a text message from Gabby Petito on August 22nd, which was 10 days after a witness called to report that they saw Brian Laundrie slapping Gabby Petito in Moab, Utah. And following that, law enforcement separated them, for the night. We know that was a big mix-up. It was horrible. And but they reunited before the following morning and continued their road trip. Laundrie eventually traveled back to Florida to clear out a storage unit that they didn't want to pay for anymore, which was why Gabby was alone when she contacted Jackson. She said, "Hey, I'm sure I'm the last person on the planet you want to hear from. I would really love to talk to you. I'm only alone until tomorrow." He called her and they talked for hours. And a lot of what we talked about was just catching up. He said how his life was going for her, how life was going for me. It was really late in the evening when we got to the end of the phone call. I got the vibe that she still might have needed to talk to someone after we hung up. So I said, if you need to talk, again, just let me know. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And she hinted at the fact that she and Laundrie had gotten into an argument. She even told him that she was working on a way to end things with him. He said, and I quote, she was like, "I have a plan. I think I want to leave him. I'm going to do it. I have to figure out when to do it." And that's when I was kind of like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you have a plan? From the sound of her voice and the way she was saying it, I think she was like, wasn't sure about what he would do or what he could do. He said he made sure Petito knew to be very careful before ending their conversation. And then he said, "Gabby Snapchatted me, hey, I'm in Jackson Hole, and it reminded me of you." Later in the day, he got a phone call from her, but he was at work and unable to answer it. And that again, the timeline shows that she and Laundrie were at a Mexican restaurant. The last known footage was taken at a Whole Foods at 2:11 p.m. So, yeah, but still we're not seeing whether he saw that message, right? Or whether he knew that they were talking, if that could have been a catalyst. I don't know. But the guy is going to have it both ways, thinking about that and thinking about, what if I had picked up that call? All of that. Let me see here. Excuse me. I'm just drinking seltzer and I'm got. I'm sorry. If you remember in the depositions that Christopher and Roberta Laundrie gave, they talked about calls and the burn after reading letter. So they said that if we go back here and I look at something, and it says, when Brian Laundrie called his mother on the afternoon of August 29th, 2021, their conversation largely seemed like a lighthearted catch-up, but as they began to say goodbye, her son's tone completely changed, and this is what she said in her deposition. And I quote, "His voice was very upset, and I didn't know why. I didn't want to push him, so we just said goodbye. When I got off the phone, I told Chris, Brian sounded upset. Maybe you should give him a call. When Christopher Laundrie called Brian, his son was frantic. He said in his deposition, He was not calm, and he got very excited. Bryant repeatedly told his father, "Gabby's gone," but never said he killed Gabby Petito. Christopher Laundrie said in his deposition. His son asked for help, saying he may need a lawyer. I asked him why. He wouldn't tell me. Laundrie's father said he never thought his son killed Gabby Petito when he said she was gone. He said, "I had no idea what to think." After the conversation, that's when Christopher Laundrie contacted the family's attorney, Stephen Bertolino. Both of the Laundrie parents said in their depositions. Later that evening, Brian Laundrie called his mother to say he was coming home to Florida. When asked what she thought her son meant when he said, "Gabby Petito is gone," Roberta Laundrie said several possibilities ran through her mind, including that the couple may have gotten into a fight and that Petito could have been considering pressing charges. Pressing charges for what? He hit her? What, Roberta? Initially, the mother said she couldn't recall whether she considered the possibility that Brian Laundrie could have killed Gabby Petito, saying, "I didn't know what to think." But she later acknowledged she thought that the thought probably went through her mind. Wow. Roberta Laundrie said she liked Gabby and the pair had developed a good relationship. As long as we knew each other longer and longer, we grew closer and we really cared for each other. She said, "I cared for her. I believe she cared for me too. She always said so." But when she was asked whether she made any attempts to contact Gabby or her parents after that August 29th call, Roberta said, "No, I was just concerned about my son at the time, and I just figured maybe her parents could come get her. My attorney told me not to talk to anybody, so I just didn't talk to anybody," Roberta said. When Nicole Schmidt, Gabby's mother, contacted her, Laundrie did not return the call. She said, Gabby always could take care of herself," Roberta said. Brian Laundrie arrived back home in Northport on September 1st with Gabby's van, but his mother didn't ask him what happened with Gabby. Following her attorney's advice not to talk to anyone that might have happened, she said, "I was told not to ask, so I just kept Brian close. I kept him home and safe and didn't talk to him about anything and hoped for the best." When Brian Laundrie's body was found in October 2021, investigators discovered an undated letter from his mother in his backpack, enclosed in an envelope that said "burn after reading." Gabby Petito's parents have fought to include the letter in the lawsuit against the Laundrie, saying his mother references bringing a shovel to help bury a body and baking a cake with a file in it. Should Brian Laundrie go to prison? Roberta Laundrie has long maintained that she wrote it before her son left on the van trip and said she never imagined the future when she wrote it. It was a poor choice of words, she said. When I read the letter, I was like, this sounds awful. It was jokey, stupid letter that I dashed off before he left with a lot of bad jokes and poor humor. I never imagined any of this. When she decided to write the note, Roberta Laundrie was under the impression Brian and Gabby were just driving up to New York, but she suspected they would be gone much longer. She and her son had recently had an issue over his traveling, and she was disappointed they would be gone so long, so she wrote it to remind him she would always love him, she said. She said she wrote "burn after reading" as a reference to a book that Petito had given her son. She said, "I did want him to get rid of it, not burn it, but throw it out so nobody reads it. It's an embarrassing note." Let's see. Joseph Petito expressed anger in his deposition that the Laundrie parents released the September 14 statement wishing for the girl's safe return, even as they privately avoided her family. "It bothered me that they're not trying to figure out a way to help Gabby be brought home," Petito's father said. "They supposedly loved Gabby, but all they did was show..." What?
Jesse's most likely going. He'll let me know tomorrow.
All right, that they didn't give two shites about her. Okay, let's see.
Hello, hello, hello.
Uh-oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
TikTok, Facebook.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, Linda. Hi, Elle. Hi, Gail. How are you? Okay. So now, oh shoot, I'm in the wrong thing here. I'm supposed to be in live chat. There we go. Hi, little lady. How are you? Little lady, I have your bracelet ready to go out tomorrow. I'm starting finally packing up some stuff. How did that backpack make it? It was a waterproof bag that this stuff was in. One of those waterproof bags. It seals. Okay. Got it? All right. I'm going to go over Monica right now. Monica Sementilli was in trial. Now there was only, let's see, two witnesses. They were both investigators. They came back from several days out on break. And I have to tell you that they had, day 11, no, that was day 11. Hold on, we're on day 12. Hang on. Okay. So they had you're aware Monica was arrested? Yes. Hold on, this is for some reason. Oh, here I am. Here I am. I don't know what the heck I was doing here. My notes are all over the place. Okay. So we had an officer. Next to witness is all smiley. Okay. I'm very sorry. 218, here we are. First responder was there. Okay, yes, this is important. There was a first responder on the stand. He was describing the scene, right, talking about things. But what the important thing that this guy is saying, they asked if he recalled Monica. And she says, yes. He says, yes, I do. Do you remember doing like a walkthrough with her at the end of the crimes, you know, the investigation of the crime scene that you were there? Yes, not the investigation, responding to the crime scene. I'm so sorry. And he said, yes, I noticed her. Now, this is 8 years later, so they're saying, okay, so you noticed her. What did you notice about her? And he said, well, she wasn't crying. Her behavior was odd. It was forced. He said, and when we walked off, he told the other responder that he was with that lady's full of crap. And he walked off. And they ended it there, and then they had a cross-examination. And then, of course, the cross tried to redirect, you know, and said, oh, a bunch of stuff, it's just a bunch of malarkey. It really is, to try to throw people off. And then they had a redirect, and the prosecutor said, you know, this is 8 years and this still sticks with you. And he says, yes, I know people grieve differently, but this was different, you know, and it still stuck out. Then they have the next witness, and he works as a detective for LAPD, robbery homicide, and it's Carlos Camacho. He was working the arrest of Monica and Robert Baker on June 14th of 2017 when they pulled over that Mustang with Robert Baker driving and Monica in the passenger side. And he was doing the search and recovery of cell phones. He got a credit card. He got a knife. And they showed pictures of a purse open with 2 cell phones inside. There was a pouch. And that was about the extent of him. He was right off. They had another officer from the LAPD. He specializes in gathering data, social media accounts, evidence, call detail records, AT&T, Viber, etc. And he had phones, Robert, Monica, Jessica, Isabel, Bella, flash drives. He talked about business records, open source data, what IP addresses are, social media. He showed a link chart as a visual. He shows how the links work, how Monica's phone is associated with an email that's associated with a Facebook account, an AT&T account, a WhatsApp account, and her IP address. So he was doing a lot of this, and I think a lot of this is just so far over the jury's head, or it's so boring, and it's just on and on and on, like some of the stuff they go through, right? He had multiple link charts, and there was another link chart showing info to Christopher Austin from Baker to download WhatsApp. And then he was talking about how your phone tracks you. He was talking about how he verifies his information, like when she was at the Target store and she was looking at her phone when she was coming through the doors, if he's got data that places her there, if it's got her doing something with that app, that when they see that surveillance at that exact time and she's doing something on her phone, it all goes to verify his data. And he talks about location history and the thousands of rows of that. He talks about the encrypted apps like Viber and WhatsApp, and how that is very hard, and almost impossible to recover any of that. But what you can see, like on her iCloud account, they show installation of the Viber app, and that was in April of 2016. And it can show like logins, but it's not going to show those messages. And then there were this lifestyle lounge logins, and that's the swinger site, and showed something that had like midlife Jeff on there, and like tasty cakes or whatever. Her lawyer looked mortified during this thing, and she looked kind of mortified too a little bit. She used just these weird faces. But they talked about chat. You could chat and video chat on that lifestyle lounge. Now, on August 25th, they said you were working evidence. And what did you find? And this was so weird. This is so weird. He says, yeah, I found some jail correspondence in a property bag. Elle and I were watching this. And what did you note? What was noted about that? He said, well, I reached my hand in the bag and I noticed they were coated in a wet substance. Eee. Oh gosh, you should see the guy's face. And they just stopped and they went to the cross-examination, and I'm sorry. They have this British attorney. He never speaks into the microphone. He's almost impossible to hear. And again, he is just going over and over. And what he's trying to get at is that there's no connection between Christopher Austin and Monica. None. He gets him to, only between Baker and Austin. So you know where he's going with this, right? That Baker and Austin are the ones, and Monica is not. She's absolved of all this. So, yeah, he's trying to create reasonable doubt about Baker doing and Austin doing it without Monica. Okay, so that's all what he was doing, and then they broke for the day. So let me just look at something about what that substance is there. Hang on 1 second. Let's look at that. And property backup. Okay. Monica, Monica, Monica. I don't know, but if it was anything like what was in that toothpaste container, gross, disgusting. Hi, Justina, how are you? Hi, Pudding, how are you? How's it going? That's just really gross. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on in true crime news, okay? So today, Karen Reed. Who's wondering about Karen Reed? Let's talk a little bit about Karen Reed, because there was a motion for dismissal, and then the hearing ended abruptly. So let's see. Attorneys for Karen Reed. The woman is about to go on trial for a second time for the death of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in 2022, have filed a federal lawsuit seeking to stop a new trial on the basis of double jeopardy. Karen Reed's first trial last summer ended in a hung jury when jurors reported that they could not come to a verdict on all 3 charges against her. But afterwards, some jurors came forward and said they had unanimously agreed on not guilty verdicts on 2 of the charges: second-degree murder and leaving the scene of a collision resulting in death. They said they had been confused about the court's instructions, but Judge Beverly Canoni declined to poll the jury, declared a mistrial. The second trial is set to begin in April, and just last week, the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts agreed with her ruling, allowing the retrial to go forward. The defense team filed their suit with the U.S. District Court in Boston on Tuesday, saying that not eliminating those 2 charges violates constitutional rights, barring double jeopardy on being charged for the same crime twice. Reed is accused of hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, and leaving him to die in the snow after a night of drinking. Her and her attorneys claim she was framed by O'Keefe's police officer friends and that he was actually killed inside the home of one of them and then dragged outside. The jury in the first trial was deadlocked on a charge of manslaughter while operating a vehicle under the influence. News of the lawsuit came on the same day that the judge abruptly recessed a pretrial motions hearing after saying the prosecution had presented new information that may have a profound effect on the defense and the defense counsel. Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan gave the judge information on Tuesday that defense attorneys had communicated with accident reconstruction experts about their testimony prior to the first trial. Brennan is seeking to bar the experts from testifying in the retrial. So, yeah, we've got that going on. Okay, I don't know why this woman looks so familiar to me right here. But she's been missing in Florida since 2022, St. Johns County. St. Johns County Sheriff's Office is searching for a 44-year-old woman who hasn't been seen in over 2 years. According to police, Laura Bryant, I remember her, maybe I did cover this or something, has not been, isn't this the one that was getting divorced or something? Now it's coming to me. Laura Bryant has not been in touch with family and friends since December of 2022, and that she lived in St. Augustine but may have relocated to Lake City or elsewhere in Florida. Anyone with information is urged to contact St. John's Sheriff's Office, 904-824-8304. Let me see. I'm going to look her up because I'm thinking was she one that was getting a divorce or something? I don't know. Let me see. come on. All right, let's see. All right, it says they, come on, there's got to be more information about her, please. Just this. I don't know why I think it's this one that was getting a divorce or something, but I don't know. Can't see that. They're not, really don't have a lot on there about her, but share it out anyway. Okay, and then you remember little Harmony Montgomery, that very sad case. Well, hang on a second. Five years after Harmony Montgomery's murder, a state agency involved in her care asserts that it should not be held legally liable for her death, arguing that she was not in its custody at the time. Harmony was last seen alive in 2019, but authorities did not report her missing until nearly 2 years later. Her father, Adam Montgomery, remember this trial, right? Has been convicted of her murder and admitting to disposing of her body, but he has not disclosed its whereabouts. Crystal Sorey, Harmony's biological mother, lost custody of her daughter before the murder and is suing the state of New Hampshire and its agencies for failing to protect her. A second amended lawsuit filed on February 12th presents additional details related to the initial claims. The updated lawsuit reveals nearly 20 calls to the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children, Youth and Families, showing that the assigned case agent failed to follow up or comply with the agency's policies regarding Harmony. Calls from various sources, including Adam Montgomery's uncle, Kevin, and a Manchester police officer, painted a disturbing picture of the home. One call noted, "This is why children die. The child was punched clear in the eye socket with full force." Other reports allege that Harmony endured SA. She was forced to clean a toilet with a toothbrush, stand in a corner for hours, and witness drug abuse. The Massachusetts Supreme Court is weighing the decision to release audio recordings from the custody hearing that transferred Harmony into her father's care in New Hampshire. Okay. So, hang on a second. We have something from the Walton County Sheriff's Office. Hang on one little minute. Okay, so there was a 21-year-old arrested for stabbing a juvenile at a party in Freeport, and the mother is charged with tampering with evidence. 21-year-old is arrested in the stabbing of a juvenile at a party in Freeport Saturday night. Walton County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call just before 10 p.m. from the victim's friends as they called for help while en route to the hospital. The caller told deputies that the friend had been stabbed while at the party at a residence off of Portland Park Road. Deputies met up with the caller and the victim at Grady Brown Park. Walton County Fire Rescue responded and transported the victim with stab wounds to his head and neck area, Additional calls came in regarding the incident at 187 Portland Park Road. Deputies responded to the address, interviewed multiple witnesses, and reviewed video evidence. All parties identified John Byron Kincaid, 21, as the suspect, and they saw him stab the victim with a knife multiple times. Kincaid was subsequently charged with aggravated battery and aggravated child abuse. He was given a $500,000 bond and is still incarcerated at the time of this release. Kingsdale's mother, Crystal Raban Kincaid, 41, was also arrested. Following the incident, she faces charges of tampering with evidence after telling witnesses to delete cell phone video of the incident. She was released Sunday afternoon on a $15,000 bond. This is the mother. Well, that's not good. Okay, let's go. All right, let's see what we've got right here. Okay, if you've been following, and I have not been following this case, okay, but it's been on YouTube and all over freaking YouTube. So I figure I'll just give you the verdict here. ASAP Rocky found not guilty in felony assault trial as rapper tearfully tells the jury, "Thank y'all for saving my life." The rapper jumped over the railing to hug his family and partner, Rihanna, after the first not guilty verdict was read. Wait, is that Rihanna? Oh, I didn't even know this guy. Okay. ASAP Rocky was found not guilty in his felony assault trial on Tuesday, February 18th. The jury acquitted the rapper, who was accused of firing a semi-automatic handgun at his former friend and ASAP mob member ASAP Relly in an altercation in November of 2021 of 2 charges of felony assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Before the verdict was announced at Los Angeles Clara Shortridge Volts Criminal Justice Center, each jury member agreed the outcome was their individual true and correct verdict. After the verdict was read, Rocky immediately jumped over the stand to hug his mother, sister, and partner Rihanna. He also told the jury, "Thank y'all for saving my life. Thank y'all for making the right decisions." The judge also thanked the jury for their time. "We cannot have jury trials without folks like you." Rihanna also expressed gratitude following Rocky's acquittal, writing on her Instagram stories, "The glory belongs to God and God alone. Thankful, humbled by his mercy," she added with praying hands emoji. On Friday, February 14th, the defense and prosecution concluded their closing statements, and District Attorney John Lewin asked the jury not to be swayed by Rihanna's presence in the court. "This is not something you're allowed to consider," Lewin told the jury in downtown Los Angeles of the pop star and the couple's 2 sons, RZA, 2.5, and Riot, 18 months. "We are all responsible for what we do." He said, "I want to make sure that no matter how famous his partner is, no matter how cute his kids are, no matter how much they giggle during closing arguments, he needs to be treated like any other person because in the end, that's what he's entitled to." The fashion killer rapper, 36, turned down a plea deal from prosecutors and opted for a jury trial instead of pleading guilty to one of the 2 felony charges of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. He is facing up to 24 years in prison if he was found guilty. In opening statements, Rocky's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, claimed the rapper was carrying a prop gun in a case of potential threats. For Relly, it was never about justice. It was about a man seeking a profit from a fabricated narrative, Tacopino said. Rocky has nothing to hide here. Meanwhile, the prosecution team recounted the events leading up to the altercation, claiming that Relly showed up thinking that they would just argue and it would repair their friendship. This is not a complicated case. The defense will turn in an alternative explanation to what happened that night. We ask that you do not leave your common sense at the door. And during closing statements, which began on February 13th, the prosecution claimed that the gun was a prop gun, illogical and absurd. Meanwhile, the defense told the jury that there were inconsistencies in Relly's story, and he lied to your faces. Liar. Okay. I don't know anything about the case. I can't tell you, but I can tell you about liars if you'd like to know about liars. Okay. I've been lied on many times. All right. Anyway, everything that doesn't come from Relly shows you that this is not a real gun, he said. Since January 29th, Rihanna has shown up to the trial on several occasions to support the rapper. In January of 2024, Taco Pino told reporters that the Praise the Lord rapper was cool as a cucumber after his arraignment. He also said that Rocky was ready to get the trial over with so he could start enjoying his family. At a November 2023 hearing, Detective Frank Flores took the stand, and new surveillance video was unveiled where two loud pops, which the prosecution team claim were the alleged shooting, were heard but not seen. More footage was shown in a prior hearing that month. After reviewing the footage during the investigation, Flores claimed that Rocky had a gun in his hand during the altercation. Under cross-examination, however, he revealed the gun was never recovered. Meanwhile, the two shell casings that were recovered from the scene by Relly and turned into police 2 days after the altercation had no fingerprints. Let's see. A photo of Relly's minor injuries was displayed in the courtroom. The photo showed small patches of raw bloody skin on the knuckle of his index, middle, and ring finger on his left hand. What are you doing? What are you doing, Desi? Who's doing that? What you doing? In response to the civil complaint, Rocky's attorney wrote, defendant generally denies each and every allegation of the complaint and specifically denies that the plaintiff has been damaged in any amount or in any way as a result of any act or omission of answering the defendant. Okay. Okay, wait a second now. So here's something pretty bad. One person is missing after a bride and groom's home exploded while they were away getting married. Officials say the explosion happened at around 5 p.m. local time at an Illinois home in the 2200 block of Central Avenue where 6 people live. The explosion, which fire officials suspect was caused by a gas leak, caused a large fire. Tom Davis and Eleni Veretos learned that their home exploded just moments after their wedding ceremony concluded. I ran here in my wedding dress, like down the alley, and was watching from a neighbor's yard, she said. Everything was just smoke at that point. One person's body was found in the debris on Sunday, February 16th. The victim killed in the explosion has not been identified. A wedding guest had been missing after leaving the event in his mother's car, but it's unclear if that's the person who died at this time. Meanwhile, the bride who grew up in the now destroyed home says 6 cats were inside when the blast occurred. Now I don't have a home, and on top of that, I don't have them. Now I don't have a home, and on top of that, I don't have them as my home. She said, that's the most devastating thing, because they're the ones that give me the comfort through that darkness. She added that her dad passed away a few years ago, so we don't have... the home is a remembrance of him, too. It's a lot to grieve. The home was being renovated at the time of the explosion. The family was also in the process of transferring their home insurance, oh boy, meaning they have no coverage to help them recover from this devastating loss. So someone named Jalissa Martinez organized a GoFundMe to support them. More than $42,000 has been raised through the GoFundMe as of Tuesday, February 18th. The Veretto's family has always been kind and generous and full of love. Now they need our support more than ever, Martinez wrote in the fundraiser's description. An investigation into the explosion is ongoing, according to the reports. The Cicero Fire Department did not immediately respond to people's request for comment. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and then we have a missing college freshman has been found deceased. Okay, Meghan Trussell's dad said it's a terrible thing that's happened, but the best way we can honor her is to get better to find out what happened. Authorities have now confirmed that missing college student Meghan Trussell was found dead last week in a remote area outside of Boulder, Colorado, days after she was last seen alive in her dorm. The Boulder County Coroner's Office said in a brief statement on Tuesday that Trussell's body has been positively identified. She was discovered 3 days earlier. In its own update, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office said they will be investigating and a final cause of death is still pending determination by the coroner. But based on our joint investigation thus far, we do not believe that there is or was a threat to the community. Trussell, 18, was first reported missing Wednesday, February 12th, and was last seen in her residence hall on February 9th, according to the University of Colorado Boulder. On Saturday, February 15th, both the school police and the sheriff's office said that a body matching her description was located in hard-to-reach terrain outside the city, requiring a technical evacuation, including the need to rappel. Her parents and other loved ones gathered on Monday, February 7th, for a memorial near where her body had been found. The outpouring of love and support has just been overwhelming, her dad, Joe, said. We appreciate you more than you know. It's a terrible thing that's happened, he said, but the best way we can honor her is to get better, to find out what happened. A movie lover, according to family, Meghan was a freshman. She dreamed of filmmaking. We just sat around the table and talked about Meghan and the memories we have of her, her cousin Rebecca Perez said at the Monday's, I can't talk tonight, ceremony. We'll have spurts of crying, but more so we'll just talk about how funny she was. A GoFundMe initially launched to help search for Meghan, and now to raise money in her honor and to support her family has drawn in more than $45,000 in donations. In a previous message to the school community, university officials mourned Meghan's death. We understand that this news is devastating to members of our campus community, and we also understand that you may have many more questions about the details of the announcement by the Sheriff's Office, Chancellor Justin Schwartz and Deandra Mulls, Vice Chancellor, said. The loss of a member of our community impacts our campus. Our hearts go out to our family and friends and community members of those that we lose. Okay. Very sad news. Oh my goodness, look at Little Lady. Oh, Little Lady gifted 5 memberships. And I don't know why it's still playing Christmas music. Isn't that crazy? And it's supposed to show the little thing on screen. I thought we did that. And it didn't do it. that's wonderful, little lady. Thank you. Let's see. Karen McCann. Little lady gifted you a membership. Welcome. Katie Doobie was gifted a membership by little lady. Stacy C was gifted a membership by little lady. Sweet Melody was gifted a membership by little lady. And Reload was gifted a membership by little lady. Thank you so much, little lady. And I'll give you a round of applause. Yay, little lady. Hey, little lady. Okay. Thank you so much, little lady. Little lady. Much appreciated. Okay. So we've got the missing college student. Sad end on that one. Now, there is something about Blake Lively. And I just wanted to see what that was. Blake Lively amended complaint claims that Justin Baldoni made other women uncomfortable on the set. Can cooperate. Interesting. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Marla Gibbs. Oh, that was the maid on the Jeffersons, right? So she's ready to work again. All right, good for her. 93. Get out there, girl. Mr. Jefferson. All right, let's take a look at what else we have here. Couple arrested for allegedly murdering a 13-year-old girl over stolen chocolates. What? Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what's going on over here. So, couple arrested for allegedly murdering the girl over stolen chocolates. I feel completely shattered inside when she died, said the girl's father. A husband and a wife in northeast Pakistan have been arrested in connection to the death of a 13-year-old girl who was employed as a maid for the couple. Rashid Shafiq and his wife Sana were detained on suspicion of murder, while a teacher who worked for them was also arrested. The victim, identified only as Ikra, allegedly stole chocolate from the couple before being tortured to death, according to the preliminary police investigation. The teenager died last Wednesday, February 12th. The teacher reportedly brought Ikra to the hospital but left after falsely telling the staff that Ikra's dad was deceased and her mother was not active in her life. It is unclear if the teacher believed the parents' status to be the truth. Ikra's father, a 45-year-old farmer named Sana Ullah, said to the BBC that the 13-year-old was working for the family because Ullah was in debt. The child made approximately $28 a month. I feel completely shattered inside when she died. According to the grieving father, police contacted him last Wednesday to tell him his daughter had been hospitalized. When he arrived at the medical facility, she was unconscious and died minutes later from multiple injuries. Preliminary findings suggest that torture and abuse had been frequent. Pictures and videos obtained showed multiple fractures in her legs and arms, as well as a serious injury to her head. Let's see. Human rights activist Shahir Bano condemned the abuse via social media and said, "My heart cries tears of blood. How many are subjected to violence in their homes every day for a trivial job of a few thousand? How long will the poor continue to lower their daughters into graves in this way?" Bono's post contained video and photos of the 13-year-old injuries as she lay in her hospital bed. The hashtag Justice for Elkra was included in the tweet. While Ola told BBC he wants to see those responsible for my daughter's death punished, the outlet says it's rare for suspects to be successfully prosecuted for these types of cases. An autopsy will determine the full extent of the girl's injuries. Wow, that's terrible. Okay, man. Okay, so here we have, let's see this. This is crazy. I thought I almost reported on this before, but I don't think I did. Uh-oh. Let's see. All right, this is, let me see here. Hanson Jones has been arrested and charged with 6 counts of attempted homicide after allegedly setting a Pennsylvania property on fire. A man drove over 700 miles and over 11 hours each way to allegedly set fire to a home of another man who had reportedly been talking to his ex-girlfriend. Wow, that escalated quickly, didn't it? On Monday, February 17th, Ben Salem Police Department confirmed suspect Harrison Jones of Rockford, Michigan, had been arrested and charged with 6 counts of attempted homicide after allegedly setting a 5200 block of Mergenser Way property ablaze in the Pennsylvania Township at about 5:22 a.m. local time on February 10th. Officers say that the Ben Salem Township Police and the Ben Salem Volunteer Fire Department responded to a report of a dwelling fire. Upon arrival, emergency services located 6 adult residents who had been evacuated from the home, some of whom had to jump out of a second-story window to escape the flames. Fire engulfed the 2-story single-family dwelling, which resulted in a total loss. 2 dogs perished in the fire. Oh, that's sad. And the 6 adults were transported to nearby hospitals with injuries. Amid the investigation, it was discovered that the fire appeared to be intentionally set and incendiary in nature. The statement added that the nearby home surveillance had captured a black sedan as it passed the home on Mergenser Way and stopped at the Mallard Drive intersection at 5:01 a.m. A subject exits the vehicle with an object and walks towards the residence. After approximately 15 minutes, the subject appears to run back to his waiting vehicle, and he departs the area on Mallard Drive and drives towards Portside Drive. As the suspect vehicle fled the area, smoke could be seen billowing up from the rear yard of the home, and within 30 seconds, a loud explosion was observed, and the house became engulfed in flames. Detectives managed to track the vehicle, entering and exiting the township. As it passed through the intersection with the automated license plate reader installed, the 2021 black Volkswagen Passat was traced back to Brian Jones, who lives at the same address as the suspect, Jones. Police also interviewed Mergenser Way residents, and they discovered that the 21-year-old male resident had an online relationship with a female who lived in Michigan and was supposed to come to Ben Salem to meet him in person for the first time this week. Suspect Jones was then identified as the ex-boyfriend of the female, officers added per the release. So it was the ex-boyfriend he was after. With assistance from the Kent County Sheriff's Office in Michigan, a search warrant for Jones' residence was obtained, and officers seized the car as well as lock-picking devices, a cell phone, and a computer. When the Kent County Sheriff's Office made contact with him, he also had what appeared to be burns on his arm, police claim. Wow. After the Bucks County District Attorney's Office gave approval for an arrest warrant for the suspect, he was charged with 6 counts of attempted criminal homicide, arson, risking catastrophe, and related offenses, and awaiting extradition back to Pennsylvania. Officers added that thanks to a grainy image of a vehicle taken by authorities that resulted in the arrest of a suspect who traveled 700 miles and 11 hours each way to commit crimes that nearly cost 6 people their lives. Ben Salem Police Department has no additional updates to add. That's all we have right now. That's it, folks. Oh, Gypsy Rose is here talking. Gypsy Rose. Oh, Gypsy. She's posting more pictures of her baby, but her face is shielded. Oh, but yeah, we've got heavily filtered images here. Let's see what she's saying. She said she's looking forward to a life without restrictions or being owned. Okay, she is marking the upcoming end of her parole on Tuesday, February 18th. Remember, her series is coming out next month, right? The reality TV star. So now she's called a reality TV star. The murderer, 33, posted a photo of her Instagram stories revealing that she has 4 months and 6 days left on parole, which will be completed on June 24th. A whole new world is about to open for me very soon, with many new opportunities and adventures. I'm going to Disneyland, Disney World. I don't know. She didn't say that. I'm just saying. She said, although I have freedoms while outside of prison walls, I am still in a sense property of the state of Missouri, she explains. So I am looking forward to a life without restrictions or being owned. They call her a victim of Munchausen's by proxy. She is not. She is not. Oh my gosh, I can't even listen to that. Since her release, Blanchard has reunited with her ex-fiancé, Ken Erker. Yeah, great. Let's see. Throughout the recent weeks, the Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup star, shared that she is leaning into motherhood. On February 14th, she added an Instagram post honoring her 2 Valentines, Aurora and Erker. They are my 2 sweethearts this Valentine's Day. It was a sweet moment, and I thought my fans, oh my gosh, her fans, her murderer fans, would love to see how our little family is doing, she continued. Her fans, oh my goodness. Days later, on the February 17th, she shared some candid thoughts about her baby girl in an Instagram post, and she said, and I quote, "With every kiss, with every lullaby, with every cuddle, I heal my inner child. I'm slowly starting to finally heal the wounds of a bloodline I didn't ask for through the eyes of a child I was blessed with." Oh, please. Okay, now let's see what some of the comments are here. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was fully aware of the deception surrounding her medical condition, and yet she continued to play along, even dramatically, exaggerating her supposed disabilities. While her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, was never officially diagnosed with Munchausen's by proxy, Gypsy was old enough to understand the fraud that was being committed. Rather than being a helpless victim, she participated in the manipulation until it no longer suited her. What's even more unsettling is how society has rewarded her, turning her into a millionaire and a celebrity upon her release from prison. This trend of glorifying and excusing criminal behavior sets a dangerous precedent, and one can only wonder what the future holds for her in a world that seems eager to celebrate her post rather than hold her accountable. Another one says, "Love how sure you are that Gypsy, being fully aware of the fraud going on by her mother, did you live with them? That could be the only way you could be sure that was the case. She's been held accountable. She served 8 years in prison. That's enough. That's not enough for you, they said. Okay, so 2 comments here. Wow. One of these ones is not like the other. Okay. All right, let's see what we got now. Okay, now Gabby Petito's parents are going to say what they've done with the van that she drove cross country in. So here's another revelation, okay, that's coming out, going back to Gabby Petito. Remember we used to go back full circle to where we started a lot of times? Well, we're not done yet, but we're turning it around a little bit. Let's see. So, Gabby Petito's parents have revealed what they did with the van that their daughter used for a cross-country road trip with her fiancé, Bryant Laundrie. Gabby's dad said that the family didn't want the van to be out there, someone owning it, and here's the van that Gabby was, we crushed the van. During an interview, Gabby's stepmother, Tara Petito, showed pieces of the van they kept, including the gas tank cap, and the Great Smoky Mountain sticker. Gabby, 22, disappeared on a cross-country journey with Laundrie in the summer of 2021. Before she vanished, she and Laundrie documented their 4-month van life journey on social media. The journey ended when Gabby was found strangled on September 19th near a campground in Wyoming. Laundrie was named a person of interest after his disappearance and later died by suicide, leaving behind a notebook claiming responsibility for the van life vlogger's murder. Okay. Let's see here. So they crushed the van and they kept pieces of it. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what else we have. All right, let's see what this is. Jennifer Gledhill. I don't know, I may have talked about this. Let's see. Jennifer Gledhill, who's accused of killing her husband, Matthew Johnson, was in the Matheson courthouse in Salt Lake City. I wonder if she's Mormon. A Utah mom of 3 accused of fatally shooting her husband in his sleep after he learned of her alleged extramarital affair, has pled not guilty to the charges against her. Jennifer Gledhill, 42, appeared at the Matheson courthouse in Salt Lake City on February 6, having previously been charged in October of 2024 in connection to the disappearance and death of her husband, Matthew Johnson, from the Salt Lake County District Attorney. She pled not guilty to the 9 felony charges against her, including first-degree murder, and waived her right to a preliminary hearing according to court documents. Gledhill has been ordered to stand trial after her not guilty plea. Gledhill reported Johnson, a member of the Utah National Guard, missing on September 28, 2024. She was arrested weeks later when an informant who claimed he had been having an affair with her told police that she had allegedly confessed to details of the killing, per the release. The informant told police that Gledhill visited his home on September 22nd and allegedly told him that Johnson had come home 2 days prior and yelled at her because he knew she had been sleeping with someone else. The defendant told the informant that she shot Mr. Johnson, on September 21st, 2024, as he slept in their bed. Prosecutors allege that Gledhill shot Johnson in his sleep before putting his body in a rooftop storage container and transporting it in their minivan before burying him in a shallow grave. According to the local media outlet, Johnson's body is yet to be found, but Gledhill allegedly told the informant that he was buried somewhere north of their Cottonwood Heights home. Gledhill's parents, Thomas Gledhill, 70, and Rosalie Gledhill, 67, were arrested during traffic stops in Salt Lake City. They said in a press conference, authorities allege they helped their daughter cover up the murder. They were both booked into a jail on multiple felony counts of obstruction of justice in connection with the death of Johnson. However, Thomas and Rosalie, who are each facing 4 counts, have not yet been formally charged. Cottonwood Heights police spokesperson Gary Young told the media that a group of 70 law enforcement officers and Utah National Guard soldiers searched near the Utah-Idaho border for Johnson's body on the weekend of February 1st through the 2nd of a needle in a haystack, and we don't have any specific information, but we're hoping to get lucky, and we're hoping to get lucky in the right area. Johnson's family shared a statement. The family of Matt are focusing on making sure his 3 children are well taken care of and surrounded by those who love them. We are hopeful that we will find Matt soon, or Jennifer or someone will come forward with the location of his body so we can properly lay him to rest. We thank the people of Utah for all their support, especially Matt's military unit for all their hard work on our behalf. Gledhill's next hearing, scheduled for February 28th. According to the court documents, it will be a pretrial conference and detention hearing. Detention hearing, yeah. Okay. Hi there. Just checking to make sure you guys are all okay. Good. All right, so let's keep going. All right, let's take a look at what else, if there's anything else we're going to cover here. I'm sorry, Yell. Elle was yawning today, and now I feel like I'm yawning. All right, let's see. So somebody asked me about Susan Smith today, and there is something about Susan Smith in the news. Susan Smith, of course, the mother that drowned both of her sons by pushing her car into John D. Long Lake. And then lying about that she was carjacked. Okay, so her husband is speaking out about the moment she admitted to killing their kids. David Smith speaks out in an upcoming episode of NBC Dateline that aired on, it's not upcoming anymore, I'm so sorry, it aired on February 14th. Susan Smith's ex-husband David Smith vividly remembers the moment she admitted to drowning their sons in 1994. She just casually, like, "You and I are sitting here," said, "I'm sorry." And that was about as far as it went. David goes on to explain that if he had done what she did, he would have asked for forgiveness. I asked her, "Why did you do this? Why?" And she said, "I don't know why, but I'm sorry." On October 25th of 1994, Susan, then 24, told police, was that October then? Yeah. That a black man had taken her car with her and David's two sons, Michael 3 and Alex 14 months, inside. She told police that she spent 9 days making emotional pleas on national television for her children to be returned home safely. As her story began to unravel, Susan admitted that there was no carjacker and that she had let her car roll into a lake with her children still strapped into their car seats. Authorities say that she committed the murders because she was secretly dating a man who did not want children. Susan was convicted of 2 counts of murder and is serving a life sentence at the Leith Correctional Institution in Greenwood, South Carolina. She was denied parole in November of 2024 after serving 30 years of a life sentence. She said to the parole board, "I know what I did was horrible. I'm a Christian and God is a big part of my life. And I know He has forgiven me, and I know that is by His grace and mercy, and I just ask that you show the same kind of mercy as well." Prior to their decision, David spoke about the possibility of Susan being released. Said, "I don't think she'll ever be rehabilitated." David shares why he wishes Susan had been sentenced to death instead of life in prison. He said, "For myself, yes, because I wouldn't have to be dealing with what's coming up now," he said. I mean, I know that they said she had a tough life growing up, and I've never tried to make light of that. But you don't kill your children for what happened to you. I wanted an eye for an eye, but the jury saw a difference, so David said that he has forgiven Susan, but says the pain of losing his sons is still fresh. Yes, I've forgiven her, but again, that goes to my faith in God, and that's the way I was raised. That we have to forgive. But it sure doesn't take away the act of what she did. It doesn't make it any less. It doesn't make it any easier. But I have forgiven her for what she did.
All right.
Let's see now. Okay, we're going to go to something else now. Sorry, I've got the yawns from hell. All right. What? Okay, let's see this. I feel like I talked about this once before. Here's a pastor, 63 years old. He was well liked in Arkansas, but now he's facing animal cruelty charges after police allege that he drowned 2 cats. Charles Thessing, 63, was arrested on February 11th after police received a call from a West Memphis animal shelter about Thessing allegedly committing acts of animal cruelty. To a statement from the West Memphis Police Department, police say they searched Thessing's home and allegedly found evidence of animal cruelty, but did not provide further details. Authorities confirmed to local outlets that Thessing is accused of drowning 2 cats. Following his arrest, the Diocese of Little Rock's bishop announced in a statement that Thessing had been suspended from his position as a pastor at St. Michael's Church in West Memphis, pending the outcome of the criminal investigation. Bishop Anthony and Taylor called the allegations disturbing, but noted that Thessing has many supporters, many whose lives he has positively impacted. He is well loved by many, and for bringing them and their families closer to God during this difficult time, I would ask every person of goodwill, Father Thessing supporter and detractors alike, to keep him and your parishes and your school in your prayers. According to police, Thessing is charged with 2 counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. Jail records show Thessing has since been released on bond. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Got all that. All right, let's see what else we've got. Hold on. All right, here we have a little, maybe a good story. Kent County Animal Shelter says Rookie is a sweet dog with a gentle personality. An abandoned pup is looking for a new home. On Friday, February 14th, the dog was found in the parking lot of a Meijer grocery store in Kent County, Michigan, with a handwritten note in a plastic bag tied to her collar. "My name is Rookie. Please help me. Take me home." She was then taken to the Kent County Animal Shelter to be cared for and placed with a new family. And this hold on. Okay, here's the note. "My name is Rookie. Please help me. Take me home." Rookie is to the person who had to make the heartbreaking decision to let her go, please know that Rookie is safe and deeply loved by our staff. The shelter wrote in a Facebook post on Friday. "We can only imagine how difficult this choice was for you, and we sincerely hope that you find brighter days ahead." Rookie is described as a sweet dog with a gentle personality and has already charmed the staff. In the same post, KCAS Director Angela Hollingshead reminded the Kent County community that help is available to those in need. If you're struggling to feed yourself or your pet, please reach out. We can assist with food and connect you to social services and help facilitate other resources as needed. She also reminded everyone to please be kind to yourself and others, as we never know the battles someone is silently facing. If you need help, please ask. Our goal is to keep pets and families together, and we will do everything we can to provide resources to support and preserve the human-animal bond. KCAS will continue to provide updates on Rookie until she is adopted. Aww. Rookie. Somebody's got to get a nice home for Rookie. Okay. Okay. Meghan Markle. Who likes Meghan Markle? Who doesn't like Meghan Markle? Who's not thrilled with Meghan Markle? Well, we got some Meghan Markle news. I don't understand why she is still holding a royal title, the Duchess of Sussex. She's not the Duchess of Sussex. She's Meghan Markle. She's left there. I see this. I just don't understand. It's so ridiculous. She has rebranded her lifestyle brand, which was formerly known as American Riviera Orchard, and launched a new Instagram account to mark the transformation. There's a new way to follow Meghan Markle on Instagram. After debuting her personal Instagram account in early 2025, Meghan has now launched a dedicated Instagram page for her lifestyle brand as ever. As ever. That's the brand. She also teased when fans can expect to start shopping. This spring, on her newly unveiled website on February 18th, Meghan announced As Ever Official in an Instagram collab with her personal account. You're warmly invited as ever. Coming spring 2025, the caption reads. In the accompanying photo, Meghan is seen drizzling honey onto a croissant besides what appears to be her now famous jam. Meghan is 43 years old, and she unveiled the rebranded name of her lifestyle brand at the February 17th, replacing the previously announced name, American Riviera Orchard. Speaking in her selfie-style video on her @Meghan Instagram page, she said, "The cat's out of the bag. I'm shocked. We've kept this a secret for so long. In 2 weeks, my show is coming out, which I'm excited for, and also my business, which I think there has been a lot of curiosity about. Last year, I had thought American Riviera sounded like a great name. It's my neighborhood. It's a nickname for Santa Barbara. But it limited me to things that were just manufactured and grown in this area. Then a Netflix came on, not just as my partner in the show, but as my partner in the business, which was huge. So I thought about it, and I've been waiting for a moment to share a name that I had secured in 2022, and this is the moment, and it's called As Ever." Okay, let's see. Referencing the TIG, the lifestyle blog that Meghan ran before marrying Prince Henry in 2018, she explained that As Ever would focus on sharing her passions. As Ever essentially means as it's always been. And if you followed me since 2014 with the TIG, you know I've always loved cooking, crafting, and gardening. This is what I do, and I haven't been able to share it with you in the same way for the past few years, but now I can. So as things are starting to trickle out there, I wanted you to hear it from me first. She also revealed that the products shoppers can expect to buy. Of course there'll be fruit preserves. I think we're all clear at this point that jam is my jam. I didn't know that. But there are so many more products that I just love. And now it's time to share them with you. So I just can't wait for you to see it. Thanks, guys. Meghan's video message was accompanied by a new website for As Ever, which featured the release photo of the Duchess of Sussex hand in hand with her 3-year-old daughter, Prince Lilibet. Lilibet? Okay. Want me to read some comments? I don't think hard launch is what you meant to say. Hard launch would include products and content. Nice try. Can't wait to see her cooking show and what products she comes out with. How many of the haters will show up to rain on this one? They're coming. Just you wait for it. Someone said the brand is DOA. Another one said, you sure know what you're talking about, like how every article of clothing she wears sells out in minutes or hours online. That took place, and she wasn't even the creator of those items. Guess we'll see if you're right. I applaud Harry for pulling his family out of that dysfunctional monarchy. I get why Meghan's branding doesn't totally land right. It just feels so highly curated instead of organic. Someone like Jennifer Garner comes across so down to earth. Hey, join me in the kitchen, which just more naturally draws you in. I agree with the monarchy part and the fact that Jen Garner's brand is organic and her food is too, but that's not style. She is more into a moderate, luxurious lifestyle. I think there is a market for that too. Well said. People continue to want to place everyone into these safe and common boxes instead of letting people be themselves. Jen G and Meg M are not the same person, and there's nothing wrong with that. People can embrace whomever or whatever they choose. I'm happy to see what she's come up with. As far as I know, she has been living in Montecito for quite a while. It's part of South Santa Barbara, which is the American Riviera. Okay. And let's see. Princess. See, why? They left the monarchy. Why is she a princess? I don't get it, do you? It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. You left, you're not. So ridiculous. I wonder what Scooter has to say about this. So this is the... I don't know. Okay. See what else is going on now, all right? Desi, what are you guys doing? Oh, wait a minute. We got a problem here. I haven't heard about a baby switch in a long time or something like this. But we have one here now. Always had like a... Okay. Single woman, 38 years old, claims IVF mix-up caused her to give birth to another couple's baby. This has destroyed me, said Christina Murray, who no longer has custody of the child. Christina Murray, a single woman, sought the help of coastal fertility specialists to become a parent through IVF. According to the complaint filed in the Georgia court, to her surprise, Murray, who is white and chose a sperm donor with a similar appearance, welcomed a dark-skinned African-American baby. Although Murray loved her child, she ultimately gave up custody to the boy's biological parents and has not seen him since, according to the complaint. A woman is suing after an alleged IVF mix-up resulted in her carrying and giving birth to another couple's biological child. Christina Murray, a single woman, gave birth on December 29th of 2003. Get out of here. They're not talking about 2003. They must mean 2023, right? They have to. According to a complaint filed in this state court of Chatham County, Georgia, they have to mean 2023. Upon seeing her baby, Murray knew something was very wrong. According to the complaint, Murray, described as a fair-skinned white woman, chose a sperm donor with a similar appearance. However, the baby she welcomed was a dark-skinned African-American baby. Although Murray had no issues or concerns with the baby's race, it was obvious that there was no chance the child was biologically related to her, which was terrifying and shocking. This has destroyed me, said Murray, who no longer has custody of the child. Nothing can express the shock and violation upon learning that your doctor put a stranger's embryo into your body to carry a baby, fall in love with him, deliver him, and build the uniquely special bond between mother and baby, all to have him taken away. I'll never fully recover from this. According to the complaint, Murray, say it is 2023. It is not 2003. They're terrible with their proofreading. In May of 2023, Coastal Fertility allegedly transferred an embryo to Murray, who became pregnant. But according to the complaint, what she didn't know at the time was the embryo allegedly belonged to another couple who was also using Coastal Fertility. When she gave birth, what was supposed to be a joyful moment became a day dominated by confusion and fear. Although none of this changed how much Murray loved her child, she still wanted answers. And after getting results from an at-home DNA test, she and her lawyer contacted the clinic in February. She claimed in the complaint that in March of 2024, Coastal Fertility surmised that it had transferred an embryo to her that belonged to another couple whom she did not know. The couple then sued Murray for custody of the baby, and a subsequent DNA test allegedly confirmed they were in fact the baby's biological parents. Rather than let the child experience additional hardship, Murray decided to voluntarily give up custody in May of 2024, and she has not seen the child since. In a statement, Coastal Fertility specialists described what happened as an isolated incident in its 15-year history with no further patients affected. They say that Coastal Fertility Specialists deeply regrets the distress caused by an unprecedented error that resulted in an embryo transfer mix-up. While this ultimately led to the birth of a healthy child, we recognize the profound impact this situation has had on the affected families, and we extend our sincere apologies. Murray also told reporters that she has no desire to go through IVF again, but still hopes to become a parent. I'll be 39 soon, she said, and I'm hoping to continue my journey to be a mom in the next year or two. Okay, let's see. Alright, let me see where you guys are at. Where are you? Alright, you're feeding the fur babies. Hi, One Eye. I may not be a prince, but I am charming. Absolutely. It's where Oprah lives. Gorgeous. Oh, the Riviera? The Riviera? American Riviera? Okay, it's just me. Hello there, it's just me. It's just me. It's not you, it's just me. You hope Letitia Stelk is enjoying her forever home. What made you think of Letitia Stelk? I wonder. What made you think of Letitia Stelk? I wonder. Okay, so let's see. Where's Scooter tonight? I know I came on later than I had wanted to. But let's see what we could do. I want to see something, okay? Shoot. Hang on 1 minute. Hang on 1 minute. What are you doing, Desi? What are you doing? Okay, hold on. I was trying to get something, but all right, let me see if this is good. Trying to get hang on a minute. I wanted to look at something that, and I think we have looked at it before, but I just want to see. So I remember looking at it with somebody, and I know you guys were here. I'm pretty sure it was with you guys. Why can't I find this? Hang on one second. I thought I had something really quickly, but I, of course, no. And then I get really paranoid when I'm looking for something and I don't. I'm like, oh my gosh. Let me just try one more thing. I have to get another seltzer. I need to. Let me just see if I can get this. This is so annoying. It's annoying, very annoying. All right, let me see what this is. Okay, how many of you this was Okay, how many of you know a lot about the Jodi Arias case? Jodi Arias. You Dirty Little Secret is a great movie. It's on Lifetime. It's a Lifetime movie. It's I think it's also on. I think it is also on whatchamacallit. It is on, what am I looking for? YouTube. Oh my gosh. YouTube with ads. But I've always told people, even before I had a YouTube channel, well, I don't know, I could have had a YouTube channel. Hey, guess what? It's going to be my anniversary. There she is hanging upside down. It's going to be the anniversary of my YouTube channel. February, I believe it is 28th. It will be, let me see. It will be 13 years. I think 13 years. So anyway, but I didn't use it. I used it mostly. It was with the blog. I was primarily blogger, and just posted videos that I would then use just to go on my blog about things that I reviewed and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll still celebrate the day. But I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say that I told people way back in the day, and it wasn't people on YouTube, it was other people, about how much I enjoyed watching the Jodi Arias trial. Okay, so I want to go over a little bit of this in a true crime rewind, the case, a little bit of the case, because it's a crazy case. So hold on a second, And Binky, I'm working on Vicky's shell. I'm just trying to make it really nice. I put an iridescent paint on the back of it, and I'm going to finish up the painting of it tomorrow so I can get it out to you so you can get it to Vicky, because I know you bought it for her. Hold on 1 second, guys. Just 1 little second. Hold on. I have to get a drink. I have to walk around for a second. I'll be right there. Okay. Hang on a minute. I just had to. Okay, so on July 9th, 2008, gosh, I was pregnant with Luke. Do you know that? I was pregnant with Luke then. And I was remembering when they were going over this case. This was Maybe I was. I always thought I heard about it the year before, but. On July 9, 2008, and it happened on my birthday. Defendant Jodi Arias was indicted on one count of first-degree premeditated murder, or in the alternative, felony murder, for an offense that occurred on or about June 4th, my birthday, 2008. The victim was Travis Alexander, with whom the defendant had a relationship. On November 6, 2008, the state filed its amended notice of intent to seek the death penalty and aggravating factors. I have to look at my birthday in 2008. What did I do? I don't know. Okay, hold on. I just got to put this away. I'll be right there. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Jimmy's very sick. Okay? Jimmy is very sick. He has 103 fever. I'm just letting you know. And I'm trying to stay healthy. So, you've got to cut me some slack. Okay. The victim was Travis Alexander, with whom the defendant had a relationship. On November 6, 2008, the state filed its amended notice of intent to seek the death penalty and aggravating factors. On June 1st of 2020, oh my gosh, I'm really losing it, of 2010, the defendant disclosed to the state copies of 10 handwritten letters purportedly written by Mr. Alexander during the period of November 27th, 2006 to May 27th of 2008. On June 10th, 2010, the state filed a motion to preclude the letters, arguing that they were hearsay, not covered by any exception, and they were not relevant evidence in this case. On June 18, 2010, the state made an oral motion for disclosure of the original handwritten letters. Defense counsel indicated that Ms. Arias had received copies of the letters electronically from a third person, and the court ordered an additional briefing. Now, let's see. This is not what I wanted to talk about. Hold on. Okay. Included amongst various forms of communication are emails and text messages that Mr. Alexander sent to Ms. Arias or that Ms. Arias sent to Mr. Alexander, which are sexual in nature. Examples of the communications from Mr. Alexander to Ms. Arias include an instant message where Mr. Alexander calls Ms. Arias the three, something wonder, right? And where Mr. Alexander states, "Send me a naughty picture." And he says, "I'm in a club right now, and it has helped me come to the conclusion that you are one of the prettiest girls on the planet." These are a few of the many written communications that Mr. Alexander sent to Miss Arias that are of a sexual nature. However, there are hundreds, and to detail all of them would be unnecessary. There are also text messages that can be characterized as emotionally abusive that Mr. Alexander sent to Ms. Arias, which stated, "Why don't you have him come and F you in the woods? I can only imagine you're so worried about me reading. You are paranoid because you have no respect for people's privacy, and you dare insult me of all people, someone you should, through your actions, you hate more than love by denying me a human right of privacy countless times. You have a lot of freaking nerve. We are not like you in that respect. We are all not like you in that respect." That was just emotion. Now let's see what else we have. Court documents 1. More court documents. Let's see what let's see. This is what I want. Okay. This may be where We watched. Let me see. Transcript of hearing. No, we want your interviews, honey, your interrogation, sweetheart. I don't know why I know I had them. Okay, hang on here. Alright, so the key evidence in this case is the timestamp photos from the camera. Now, I never understand how in the world this woman is a hobby photographer and doesn't know that if she puts that chip in there, that chip is going to still be okay. You can put a chip in the wash and it will still come out okay and you'll be able to see the pictures. And that even if you delete them, there are programs that can get them to come back. How did she not know that? That's what really, really bothers me. It's almost like she had a freaking mind, like something in her mind that wanted to get her caught, right? Really? Truthfully, it's crazy, right? Okay, so there she has photos on there. And they're of Travis Alexander in the shower minutes before his death. They were accidentally taken. They show her pants. They show different aspects of her and him, of course. And then there's DNA and fingerprint analysis linked to Arias at the crime scene. She put a bloody print on the wall. And then there's text messages. There's emails. There's recorded phone calls. There's ones that are volatile in nature about their relationship, okay? And all of that. Now, the first trial began in 2013. And then their defense was that she killed him in self-defense. Yeah, because he was abusive and she portrayed herself as a victim of domestic violence, right? And she tried to look really meek and mousy and, very plain Jane, nothing like she really was, right? And this was broadcast. There were people there watching. I didn't watch it when it was live. I watched it after, and I really liked it. In May of 2013, she was found guilty of first-degree murder. The jury was deadlocked on the sentencing, which led to a mistrial in the penalty phase. Then they had a second penalty phase, also resulted in a deadlock. And in April 2015, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So let's look at... there is Jodi, is this a new one? Jodi Arias, An American Murder Mystery. I don't know if I've ever seen that one. It says it's on Hulu. I don't know if that's new at all. Okay. So, Jodi Arias, a letter to Travis Alexander's family. Let's take a look at this. What she wrote over here. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's take a look at this letter. Oh. Okay. Let me go back. Can't stand this thing. Sorry, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to you guys. I'm just trying to get to this thing that I want, and I just had it. And it's a letter. Okay, here we go. So it says, to Travis's family, of all the letters I must write, this is one of the most difficult, second only to the one I must write my own parents. I thought at length of the things I should tell you all, but after talking with Detective Flores and Blarney, and Blaney, I'm sorry, they convinced me of the importance of telling you all that I know, that you deserve to know. Now I think that they told me this not primarily out of principle, but to build their own case. That is their job. It's what they do. I knew that. Nevertheless, their pleas have stayed with me since I last spoke with them 12 days ago. And the more I have pondered it, the more I have come to agree with that 100%. For if it were my own brother, I want every detail that could be had. And if an arrest was made, I have 1,000,000 questions for the person in custody. First and foremost, why? I don't have all of the answers that you seek, but as I sit here today and put pen to paper, even on Travis's birthday, I'm going to try to answer as many as I can, because this is not a Q&A forum. I don't know what questions you have precisely, but I do presume that you've gathered enough of everyone else's opinions to form your own notions of the kind of person that I am and the kind of relationship that Travis and I had. Since things upcall me in this way, and since detective have already made it clear that my case is hopeless and theirs is rock solid, I have no reason to hold back anything at this point, nor do I want to go to my grave having withheld anything that might help you piece some things together. It is no longer about me and the things I don't want you all to know. You deserve to know. Besides that, Detective Flores said anything I might reveal about Travis would never and could never change your opinion of him, and since my fear that was the only thing holding me back, I feel like now I can shed a little light on what was our situation. I have a tendency to ramble, but I will keep most trivialities to a minimum. However, I do feel that starting from the very beginning would be the best, so that you will have a brief synopsis of our history from beginning until now. This may or may not clear up some of the questions, but to me it's worth trying. I met Travis at the Rainforest Cafe at the MGM Grand in September of 2006. We later marveled and mused at the irony of meeting in such a place, as we later discovered our mutual passion for a healthy planet and the environment in general. He confidently walked right up to me, stuck out his hand and said, "Hi, I'm Travis." I cordially responded with the usual niceties, and I figured that would be it, since in that moment, Kiss was just another of the many new names I was trying not to forget. I continued to meet other people as we walked through the casino, but Travis made it a point to walk by my side and keep a running conversation. There wasn't any kind of magnetic attraction that I could feel, but in that short time, we discovered just a few things that we had in common: traveling, the UFC, the 49ers, and the drive to create an amazing life. After that weekend, I didn't expect to hear from him again, but surprisingly, he called me the very next day. A few days later, he invited me to accompany him and some friends to church in Murrieta. That following Wednesday, he gave me a copy of the Book of Mormon. On November 26th of 2006, Travis baptized me at the church in Palm Desert, where I was living at the time. He said he never met anyone more prepared to receive the gospel. Joining the church was one of the best decisions I've ever made and has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I know that Travis will be richly rewarded for the role he played in bringing me into the fold. Our relationship during that time was ambiguous and defined. There was no doubt a mutual attraction, but we were in no way officially dating by Christmas of 2006. Travis had grown to mean a lot to me. He was determined to Mormonize me further, so I received a generous lot of gifts that Christmas to serve that very purpose, everything from a CTR ring and scriptures with my name engraved on them and a copy of a painting of Jesus Christ, the proclamation of families, and a biography of Gordon B. Hinckley. His generosity never wavered the entire time that I knew him, not once. It wasn't until February 2nd of 2007 that we decided to make things official. Things went really well despite one small hang-up. Deanna Reed. I had no hostility towards her. From what Travis said, she seems like a very nice girl. But he made it clear that she could, under no circumstances, ever know about us, because if she found out, she would freak out, and he was tired of dealing with her every time he tried to date someone. I was very understanding of this, as I had dealt with a similar situation in the past. We began to progress to the point where the talk of marriage became more and more frequent. We often talked about family structure, baby names, how many children we wanted, boys, girls, etc. Each time he referenced the future, he included me in it. To me, this was a natural progression. In May of 2007, I tried to move out of my home in Palm Desert because I could no longer handle the mortgage. Excuse me 1 minute. Travis insisted that I move closer to him so that we could have a more normal relationship. Although he expressed concern for Deanna's reaction, saying that if she found out it would be World War III, as great as things were going, something just seemed off about the Deanna thing. I knew that he still loved and cared for her very much, and I thought that was admirable, but I didn't understand why he couldn't just tell her to back off. So in a snap decision, I decided to move to Big Sur, California instead. Travis was upset and hurt. I assured him it was temporary and that things would work out, but he wasn't happy that I lived even farther, so we began to make arrangements for me to move to Mesa. We had decided to keep it top secret from Deanna. It was then that I realized that if Deanna was happy, Travis was happy, and then Jodi was happy. Sometimes things happen that seem like they're not part of the plan. But this is pure illusion. No matter how painful it is, we must trust that the hand of God is at work in our lives. Hold on a minute. I just want to put up another graphic there because it's like we only have one graphic there, and I just want to put up something else. Okay. Okay, so I've got to, sometimes things just happen like that, and it's got to work in our lives, right? Okay. What is going on here? Hold on. Hold on 1 second, guys. Oh, my thing is... scream in a minute. Sorry about that. Let me go over here and get this. Oh, so annoying. So annoying. Okay. So where were we now? Let me get it here. We were at page 4, I believe it was. Let me see. Okay, after Travis and I returned from a fun trip to Daniels Summit, Utah in June of 2007, I acted on impulse and a gut feeling, doing something completely dishonest. You see, I have been in a few relationships before where my partner was not being completely faithful, and there is a distinct feeling that comes with it. Travis had been interacting with some girls in my presence that gave me cause for concern. I knew he was the flirtatious type, and I had witnessed it on countless occasions prior to that point. I'm not a jealous person, but something about the way he conducted himself that time caused me to question the level of commitment to our relationship and to me. The dishonest deed, which I had mentioned, was that I looked at the text messages in his phone. I thought to myself, he said he has nothing to hide, so why not? A flawed logic, I know. I fully expected to find a few mild flirtations with other girls, as this was his MO anyway, and he was not secretive about it. What I found, however, was far more, including several references made of the many separate, intimate rendezvous he has had with other girls, including plans in the making for further associations of the same kind. I checked the dates to make sure I wasn't getting worked up over nothing, but as I feared, they were well within the range of when we began dating exclusively. I didn't freak out. I didn't even tell him. I didn't know what to do. We had another trip planned to Niagara Falls, the Sacred Grove, and Huntington Beach, so I decided to sit on it, get through that, and then make a decision. It ate at me, and as soon as we got home from Huntington Beach, it all came out. He was very apologetic. He said it was wrong. There was no way I couldn't forgive him. Despite his shortcomings, he has been very good to me. However, there was also no way I could trust him any longer. I decided we should just be friends on June 29th of 2007. This was a very difficult decision for me because I loved him very much. It was especially difficult because he begged me to marry him that same day. He said things would be different. Up to that point, a proposal was expected any time, but once the trust is gone, it is hopeless. I'm not perfect either. I violated his trust by reading text messages that perhaps should have remained private. My justification was I had the right to know. I'm not saying it was okay. Fast forward 3 weeks to July of 2007. I hesitated to follow through with plans I have already made to move to Mesa, but Travis is a very persuasive man, and at the hands of his persuasion, I folded and decided to go. I used to wonder what it would have been like if I'd accepted his proposal, but I don't think things would have changed, and here's why. About a month before I moved back to California in March 2008, we decided to have a come clean conversation about everything. Everything. He confessed that most of the time I'd been living there, he'd been dating someone else, Lisa Andrews. The subject of dating other people had come up all of 4 times between us while I lived in Arizona, 3 of which he brought it up, and he stated that he wasn't dating anyone. I never had any reason not to believe him. because there'd be no reason for him to hide that from me. I'm not the type to have a crying, emotional meltdown over something like that the way Deanna has in the past. In fact, I would have been happy for him. So the shock came not in the fact that he lied again and cheated on yet another girlfriend, but that this time I was the other girl. I felt very ashamed. My first thought was for Lisa. I should tell her everything. But they'd long since broken up, and Travis had taken a decided interest in Mimi Hall. Besides talking to Lisa, not only would have destroyed our friendship, mine and Travis's, but it would have caused a lot of unnecessary drama and pain. After listening silently for a few minutes, while he continued gushing about Mimi, I could see in his eyes that he was very happy. I asked him how she felt about him, and he jokingly responded by saying that he doesn't think she even knows he's male. We both laughed, and I reminded him of the charmer that he is, and that it's only a matter of time. He rolled his eyes and said, "Please, whatever you do, don't give me any dating advice. I get enough of that crap from Sky Hughes. I'm sick of it. I can handle this." I didn't say another word. If anyone knew how to win over a lady, it was Travis, so we left it at that. But when it was my turn to come clean, his attitude changed 180 degrees. All hell seemed to break loose. He lost his temper completely and flew into a rage. He began punching himself in the head so hard that he injured his neck and his back, and he could barely turn his head from side to side. I was afraid to get near him, but I wanted him to stop. Travis never hit me in the face, but he bruised other parts of my body. It was easy to shrug off a few visible bruises with my friends. I could blame it on work or clumsiness. That only happened on 2 occasions. The second time was on a Tuesday in early of 2008. 2 men at the Tempe business briefing actually joked, "What is Travis, beating you now?" We just laughed. Playing along with their joke was the only way to protect his reputation. I know it's common behavior for women in abusive relationships to protect their partner by covering for him or her and by making excuses, but I didn't see it so much like that. Travis and I were not in any kind of committed relationship at that point. He was not my partner any longer, and it was only a matter of days before I rolled out of town in a U-Haul truck. So hold on a minute. So what'd you say here? By putting several hundred miles between us, any further opportunities for abuse, not to mention immoral conduct on both of our parts, would be prevented. But even when I moved away, he didn't let up. I stopped to sleep in Hollister, still hundreds of miles from my destination in Eureka. And Travis called me in the middle of the night, angry that I've moved, angry that I dated other guys. It was so confusing to me because I thought we were on the same page about me moving, and I knew how much he liked Mimi. We both knew we were never getting back together, but it was like he was determined not to let me off that easily. I really cared for him. His cruelty and abuse never made me angry. It only invoked pity and remorse and shame as well, for he acted that way out of pain, and the last thing I ever wanted to do was hurt him. I know you all probably hate me even more than before you started reading this letter. Well, hang on, because the plot thickens, and by the time you're done reading this, you most likely won't consider me worthy of your own spit. Travis told me that I'd hurt him more than the death of his father. He is not one to dramatize things, so I knew he'd been sincere when he said that. I don't fully understand why he felt that way. How was it that he can date and have relationships, but if I did? So he branded me a whore? I knew he was hurting, but I didn't get it, especially since he liked Mimi Hall so much. Tanisha had made mention online that I was obsessed with Travis. Obsession would not be an accurate way to term it. But if obsession means that I've cried every day since his death, then maybe there is some accuracy there. If obsessed means that I couldn't stay away from there is a bit of truth in that. I could not say no to Travis. He would not let me escape his influential grasp. He called me at all hours of the night. The reason I was at his house so frequently was because he invited me over. Most of the time it was in the late evenings when the coast was clear. He would send me sweet text messages in the middle of the night, beckoning me to get out of my bed and sneak over to his house. It was too hard to resist most times. If I didn't respond to his solicitations, they would be followed by a heavy and relentless onslaught of the ultimate guilt trip. I know I should have been stronger. For his own spiritual well-being and mine, naturally, I was flattered that he was so attracted to me and wanted to spend time with me. Usually the feeling was quite mutual. But it became obvious, especially after our behavior continued, even after he met Mimi, that neither of us were going to be strong enough to, as long as we lived in the same convenient proximity. I've never regretted my decision to move back to California. There are, however, some decisions that I do regret, and I cannot tell you how remorseful I am for my inactions. Let me clarify by saying the following. I had a trip planned to Southern California and Utah the week of June 2nd through the 6th of 2008, and Travis found out and tried persuading me to come to Arizona instead, to visit him. I told him I just didn't have enough time. He acted sad and hurt and tried to guilt me into coming. I stood my ground, though, and I said no. But I played up all of the positives, like his impending trip to Northern California. We were going to check off 3 more things on that list of 1,000 places to see before you die, which were Crater Lake, although he's been there when he was very young. He wanted to re-experience it. The Oregon coast, and the Shakespeare Festival in Ashland, Oregon. But he refused to be consoled and just said, "Okay, whatever, I see how it is. You don't love me." Just the usual rhetoric, guilt trip lingo, etc. We hung up the phone and I could feel my heart once again being pulled in his direction. I knew that if I went, we'd have fun. By the time I arrived in Pasadena, I made the decision to go to his house. I arrived in Mesa around 4 a.m. on Wednesday, June 4th, 2008, my birthday. He was already expecting me and was very happy to see me. So was Naps. I missed them both so much. It had been months since I'd seen either of them. Travis was awake when I arrived. He waited up all night for me. He and Naps were in his office, and he was watching some silly video on YouTube. Some kind of dancing robot girls or something. I was exhausted from driving, so after a few more YouTube videos, we went to sleep. As the sun was rising, we slept until about 1 p.m. When we woke up, among other things, we tried looking at photos from past church history trips. They were on 3 CDs that I had made a year prior, but they were pretty badly scratched. Not to mention, Travis's laptop had recently contracted a virus, and it was difficult to bring up the disk drive. He had instant Quaker oatmeal for lunch, and I remember him as clear as daylight, sitting in his office chair, his feet kicked out, in his pajamas, eating oatmeal, waiting for his computer to accomplish a simple task, but having no luck. I sat on the floor next to him, petting Napoleon, looking around the room. The poem I'd written back in February was still on his whiteboard. Roses are red, violets are blue, T-Dog's the best, forget all the rest, Napoleon's pretty great too. Anyway, when we realized we weren't getting anywhere with pictures, we went back upstairs. I took pictures of him in the shower, but they were tasteful pictures. We were going for a sort of Calvin Klein advertisement kind of look. Travis and I and the rest of the prepaid world knew about the Cancun trip a year prior when it was announced, but those who were eligible weren't announced until early 2008 when he found out he was going. He began working double overtime on his body, and by May and June was feeling very confident in his own skin. If it wasn't for the fact that he might have not agreed to do these shots, who knows? From that point on, things are blurred and confusing. I was kneeling on the floor next to the shower, going through the pictures I'd taken when I heard a really loud pop. I must have been hit on the back of the head, because the next thing I knew, I was lying next to the bathtub. My ears were ringing, and Travis was screaming, but he sounded so far away, although he was right next to me. I'm really sorry for this. I know you're going to hate me even more than you already do, but as hard as this is, I keep telling myself that if he were my brother, I'd want to know. When I came to, I saw two individuals standing near the bathroom, in the bedroom right where the carpet ends and the tile begins. They both began walking towards us. My only thought was to run into the closet, possibly by passing them so I could get out of the room, via the other door to his closet. But as I reached for the other door, I was stopped by a male pointing a gun directly at my forehead. I was made to get on my knees near the armoire and was told not to move. By this time, I'd surmised that the other perpetrator, now standing over Travis, was female, for both people were wearing black ski masks, black gloves, and dark clothing, with the exception of the male who was wearing blue jeans. He left the room, and without much thought, I charged the female who was standing over Travis. I shoved her hard enough that she fell over Travis, who was conscious but quiet at this point, on all fours with his right hand holding his head. The girl had fallen near the left sink, close to the trash can on the corner. I pulled on Travis, saying, "Come on, come on." He came forward lethargically but couldn't stand up, and he kept saying, I can't. I only got him about halfway down the hall of his bathroom. I kept urging him, but he said, "Go get help. Go to my neighbor's. I don't want to leave him." I felt like I was going to pass out. My whole body was tingling painfully all over. I just kept pulling on him. At this point, I was crying, and I kept pleading, "Come on, please." And he said, I can't feel my legs." The girl came at me with a knife, but I was able to grab her wrists. I was already weak, and I felt like I couldn't hardly breathe. She tried kicking me repeatedly in the knees. I tried blocking her and holding her hands, but she was making repeated attempts to stomp at my feet, landing her target a few times. I was at an unfair advantage because she had shoes and I was in my bare feet. At the time, I didn't notice the pain. Maybe it was adrenaline, but my left foot was later throbbing and bruised, so I knew she got me at least once, probably more on that foot, and she had caused 2 of my toenails on the other foot to bleed, which I didn't discover until later as well. Again, probably adrenaline. We struggled, and I was able to throw her off of me again, but out of fear, I ran as she was about to double back and come after me. Again, I was stopped by the male perpetrator, who had come back into the room. He yelled at her to stop. He said, "That's not what they're there for. I'm sorry about my handwriting. I'm shaking as I write this." She argued with him, saying that they should do me too, but he said no. He asked who I was, but before I could respond, I could barely breathe by then, let alone speak. He grabbed my purse and began to go through it, and I was on my knees in the bathroom. Travis was still midway in the hall of the bedroom, the female standing over him, yelling at the male. He got out my wallet and looked at my driver's license. He took the cash that was in my wallet besides the gas receipts I'd accumulated up to that point of my trip. I had the registration to my car, which I no longer kept in my glove box because I cleaned my car out of all the valuable items and paperwork because it wasn't It was going back to the bank any day. The registration has the address of my parents' house printed clearly on it. He said to me, as he began to stuff things back into my purse, I know who you are, and I know where you live. I know exactly how to find you, and I can find your family. Unless you want them all to die, you keep your silent, or I will silence you. I agreed, but the woman kept shouting and arguing with him. She was shouting as quietly as possible. He kept telling her to shut up, that's not what they were there for, that's not what we're here for. He finally gave under the pressure because he held the gun to my head and tried to fire, but nothing happened. Just a click. I shoved past him with my purse, which was then on the floor next to me. He seemed to make no effort to stop me, but as I flew down the stairs, I swear I could hear footsteps behind me. I ran out the front door, leaving behind my shoes and slamming the door at some last-ditch effort to create any kind of obstacle to slow down whoever was pursuing me. My rental car was parked in the driveway. I was shaking and hyperventilating and crying. I kept my eye on the front door as I backed out, and I drove away. Awful, I know. I didn't look as I backed out. I probably should have never been driving in this kind of state. It wasn't heightened awareness. It was blind confusion. The front door never opened. I don't know what time it was when I left, but I'm guessing it was sometime between 4:30 and 6:30. Just don't know. There were two young girls playing outside. I don't know if they noticed me or not. Maybe one was 9 and 10, and the other one looked maybe 13 or 14. I'm not good at guessing ages. They both had blonde hair, and they were running west down Queensboro Avenue on the north side of the street. This is one of the last details that I remember of Travis's neighborhood. When I left, Travis was alive, although he was hurt. My phone was dead, and and as cowardly as this is, I probably wouldn't have called for help even if I could have. Okay, let's see, where was I? I was racked with fear. I knew that if they were capable of doing what I'd seen them do, then they were capable of carrying out their threats. I did not harm Travis. I did not take his life. But looking back on the way that I acted, I might as well be held equally responsible for his death. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and 2 parents. But all I keep seeing was my dad and my youngest brother, and all I could think of was their safety. A huge part of me regrets my last-minute decision to go to Travis's house that week. Part of me has faith in the notion that all things happen for a reason. I wish I could give you more. I did not commit a murder that day, nor would I ever harm Travis. The evidence against me was presented to me by Detective Flores. There is a lot. The only explanation I have for that is this. I was there that day. I never committed a crime, and therefore it never occurred to me that I would need to cover my tracks. Whoever did this came prepared. All I can say now is that I am deeply remorseful for the pain you have been experiencing. If I could give my life in exchange for Travis's life so that he could live again, he could live here again amongst the people that love him, I would do so without a shadow of hesitation. What happened that day was horrible. I'm so sorry that I didn't have more courage to stop it, or more power. My heart has ached to no end during the entire traumatic experience. Putting on a smile and pretending things were fine for my family didn't work out so well. I felt like I was a danger living near them, and perhaps to make preparations to move back to Monterey, where I'd lived for 4 years. I loved Travis very much as a friend. We had our fair share of arguments, but I would never intentionally hurt him. I did hurt him emotionally, and for that I am very sorry, too. But above all, I hope you can find peace. I know that his killers are still at large, and each and every day I've been praying, not so much that they be brought to justice, but for my family's health and protection. And at the end of the day, I have to give it all to God. It's just fair and just. And regardless of what the world believes, I'm so grateful that he is ultimately his opinion that counts. Again, I would never hurt Travis. He has shown me very little other than kindness and generosity. He would give me the world if he could. He assisted me in moving to and from Arizona. He let me store my books and my artwork at his house when I had no room for them. He was constantly doing things like that for me, always full of thoughtfulness. We traveled to many places together, each determined to conquer the book 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. I hesitate even mentioning all of the little knickknacks he'd accumulated that adorn his house as a result of our travel together, or through gifts from me that he treasured and proudly displayed for fear it would taint your opinion of those same items which are no doubt now in your possession. I know this letter may only raise more questions, but I hope it answers others. Again, I know that God is just and fair. Ultimately, whoever did this will be held accountable. I think we can all agree on that much. Like I said, what prompted this letter that I know you all deserve to know whatever information I have. I also feel like I should explain the following. There have been many comments made about my smile in my mugshot, which I was fully expecting. It was cocky, I know, but so was Travis, and anyone who knew Travis well enough knew he was cocky. Also knew of his happy and positive outlook on life. I know of my own experience, and so does our Father in heaven. For me, for this reason, I cannot be sad. I also ask myself, what would Travis do? Barring the facts that he would likely not find himself and such in an unfortunate set of circumstances, he would no doubt be flashing that smile of his like he always did. Like you, I wish I knew why all this happened. Forensics can only tell us what, but not always who, and nobody seems to know why. Detective Flores suggests a few possible motives, but to me, they don't make sense. He said maybe I was angry or jealous. Travis has never done anything that would incite that kind of anger. As far as the physical way he retaliated during 2 arguments that we had, my own father has done worse to me as a means of discipline. The only other thing Travis has done to upset me was to be unfaithful in our relationship, but nobody would expect me to be thrilled over it. I've forgiven him a long time ago. Either way, he'd have to get back of a line of ex-boyfriends who are guilty of the same follies in relationships with me. The detective said that perhaps I was jealous that he was going to Cancun, and as I mentioned, I know all about that trip since last year. There is no way I could break up with a guy and then expect him to take me on a trip of that magnitude. The idea of accompanying Travis on a trip to Cancun was as short-lived as the snowflake in Mesa. During the month of July, there was never any question or discussion of us going together. I just don't harbor any hostility towards Travis, and I know you never have. I knew that we both struggled to move on, but we both wanted the other to be happy. Travis was a good man. Our relationship was never perfect, but it taught me so much. Knowing Travis has been one of the greatest blessings of my life. I know it would bring you a great sense of closure to know who his killers were, to know that his killers were brought to justice. Ultimately, the persons responsible will be held accountable. I, however, will not serve 1 day in prison for a heinous crime in which I had no part. Travis lives. He is not far, and it won't be long before you can see him again. One day, all of our questions will be answered. I just hope you can all find peace. My prayers are with you and have been since the inception of this nightmare, and so are the prayers of many. Amen. Right? No, she didn't say that. With deepest sympathy and humble sincerity, Jodi Arias, and Your sorrow shall be turned into joy. John 16:20. Okay, yeah, it's the letter she wrote to the parents. You know, letting them know she had absolutely nothing to do for this and she's not going to spend one day in jail for this heinous crime. No, you're not going to spend one day in jail. You're going to spend your life. Yeah. So that was something, right? So let's see who's here. Your kids just dropped by. Yeah, we're just reading a letter about Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias. Hi, Murder of Crows. How are you? How's it going? What's up? What are you up to? What are you up to? Can't believe I've almost been on for 3 hours. How is that? Time flies when we're having fun, doesn't it? I've almost been on for 3 hours. How the heck? I feel like I've covered nothing. I don't know. That's so crazy. Okay. That is crazy. Maybe it's time for word cookies. I am feeling really kind of tired. Thank you, little lady, again for those memberships. That was really nice. Really nice. White Angel. Hello there, White Angel. I didn't see you. Welcome, White Angel. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. White Angel, you should get your name in green and then you'd stand out. You said you were going to do that. I don't understand why you can't. Okay, let's do this, right? Let's do this. Get away. I see it. Get away. I just saw it right away. Get away. Get away from me. You liar. No. Well, yeah. Okay, get away. I thought that was going to be the... Okay. So, we have way and gate, right? And tag and wag and wage and age and awe, awe, and did we get, we got gate. Eight. Hold on a minute. 8. Okay. T. Okay, let's see. See what you guys say. Get. Very good, thank you. What else did you say? Gateway. Very good. I saw getaway, you saw gateway. And let's see. Away. Okay, that's good. Away, yeah. Got that one. Okay, let's see what else now. Way wet, right? Oh, yet. You know that. And then there's one more, which has to be what is it? I have yet. So what is this one? You. Okay, yay. We're done. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm exhausted, and I've got a big day tomorrow. And I want to get some rest. Love you guys. God bless. Prayers. Thank you again, little lighty. Appreciate that. And we'll see you later on.